I mean, there's a simple answer to the question, which is that there's plenty of evidence out there that when you ask people about things going wrong with their relationships, one of the top reasons they give is arguments over money.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think what we found, I mean, we did this study called the Enduring Love Study, and it was about how couples sustain their long-term relationships. And people were mentioning, especially women were mentioning, arguments about money were one of the biggest things that they disliked about their relationship. But what was interesting is once couples work together to resolve a financial problem, whether it be losing one's job or just not having enough money, then their relationship seemed to be positively impacted from that kind of economic deficit in a way.
Well, I think this, this idea of people having very different ways of seeing money. People often are in relationships with people who are quite different from them. Sometimes that's what's attracted them in the first place. And the issue is not, are you different, but do you find ways of talking about it and negotiating your way through
If you think also when the times of year, post-Christmas, people have spent a lot of their money, and we know the divorce spike is post-Christmas, that is when a lot of couples do start to have more troubles. But that isn't so much money, that's about the intensity of the occasion.
One of the things that's also clear in our work on financial behaviour is that not only is money inherently very emotional, but how you manage your emotions makes a real difference to how effective you are financially. Paradoxically, people in money difficulties will often cheer themselves up by going out shopping.
What was interesting for me is the way that people were talking about their relationship. So we had one couple, for example, who would talk in a very clear-sighted way about, will you put deposits in the bank account of your relationship? And they, very clearly had thought through this, that, it's like having money, but you have to put affect, you put your emotional wealth together. And then when times are really hard, when things are lean, emotionally, you can draw on that, you can draw on all of that.
And I do think that this idea that came up in our research of, people equating money with love, that if you're not able to spend money on your family, on the people in relations with, somehow you don't love them enough. I do worry about the way in which as a society we seem to be constructing our expectations of the role money should play in a relationship. So I think, you studying relationships, myself studying the way in which people, professionals and ordinary people, behave in relation to money, have come from different directions to this idea of just how important emotions are in all of it.
Yes, no, absolutely. And the cultural value that is assigned to emotional value.
Yeah.
So, definitely. We agree.
I don't think we were supposed to.
Oh dear.